Hi, folks. My name is Dr. Amy Pearlman. I'm a board certified urologist with expertise in sexual, hormonal, and genitourinary health. And today we're going to talk about erection rings, cock rings, or penile rings. So let's get into it. My goal for today is to teach you about some of the nuances behind some of the popular ones that are on the market, and to get you thinking about why, if you have one, why it may not be working for you and ways to optimize their use. All right, so this is a typical example of an erection ring, and I like to use the terminology erection ring versus a penile constriction band or a penile constriction ring because the latter just doesn't sound quite as sexy. So we always want to encourage the use of devices like this to improve function, improve satisfaction, and not necessarily constrict or have some of those kind of words with maybe a negative connotation around them. So it's all about enjoyment, right? And pleasure at the end of the day. So terminology matters. So let's talk about this ring right here. This would be a standard erection ring. It's in the shape of like a big O, and there are different iterations of this ring. So you can see they have different tensions in terms of how tight they are, and they also have different size openings depending on the size that will best accommodate your penis. The key thing here when it comes to selecting a ring is that the first ring that you get may not be the best one for you. Definitely, you have to size the ring based on your anatomy. The key thing is that you want to get in a ring that is tight enough to keep the blood in, but not too tight that it causes discomfort. Which brings us to, why would someone even use a ring like this? Well, it's very common as men get older to have erectile dysfunction. And erectile dysfunction can come in many forms, but if we kind of simplify it, it's you need enough blood flow into the penis to get the erection, and you need the blood to stay in the penis to be able to maintain the erection. Now, what's very common, even in young men, and I see this in men who are in their late teens and early 20s, is what we call venous leak. It's essentially you get blood into the penis, you can get the erection, but it takes a lot of stimulation to maintain the erection. So for a lot of people, especially as they get older, keeping the blood in the penis and maintaining the erection is really the main issue for a lot of guys. So what these rings do is they put pressure on the veins in the penis to prevent the blood from leaving the penis. All right. So the key thing is you want the ring tight enough to be able to compress those veins, but not too tight that it causes discomfort. Now, the other key thing with these rings right here is you got to figure out exactly, how you're going to do this with your hands, right? And so there are ones out there that are not quite as tight, that don't require quite as much strength to get this around the penis. So again, it's a little bit of trial and error with these devices. Then you have a similar ring, just, a lot of different variations right here. And this bottom part here is the part that's going to go on the underside of the penis where the urethra is. And so some people may prefer a little groove for the urethra there. Then we have other devices that bring in, shall we say, some pleasure components. So they're not just providing that constriction of blood in the penis, but they're also offering vibration. Vibration can feel good for both the man and his partner. This is one product here. So this band right here would go around the base of the penis, and then this part right here would vibrate. So that would feel potentially good for the partner during sexual activity. Then we have this product here, and this is by We Vibe. So this is a vibrating erection ring. So this would go around the base of the penis. This part would vibrate, can feel good during sex. What I do want to bring up with these devices is if this device, for example, works great for one person, it doesn't mean the next person is going to absolutely love it. So I've had patients love these devices and others that say, you know what, it really didn't do much for me. And that's okay. It's all about trying different things out and experimenting to see what feels good at this point in time. And honestly, for some people, one device might feel good in one scenario and not in another. So every scenario can call for potentially a different device. All right, this device is the Tenuto Mini. It's by a company called Mystery Vibe. They're doing a lot of really interesting and great research on the use of sexual wellness products for men and women. And so this device right here is an erection ring that would go around the base of the penis and vibrates. I had a patient recently use this device, and he had his prostate removed for prostate cancer about a year ago. and found that putting this device around the glands or the tip of the penis like this was very helpful to get arousal. And then once he was aroused, he would just move this towards the back or the base of the penis, and thought that this was actually quite helpful as part of his rehabilitation program. So I've started actually discussing vibration for penile rehabilitation with more of my patients. This device is very similar, also by that company Mystery Vibe. So you have basically this a very similar component here of the, the Tenuto Mini kind of in the back, but it also has this additional part right here. So the scrotum would go in here, the penis would go out here. This would go back towards the rectum. So this is going to vibrate the perineum. There are lots of nerves in the perineum and then going towards the rectum and in the rectum towards the prostate that if you stimulate with vibration can feel really good. So what we know about vibration and what some of the research is showing us that Mystery Vibe is conducting is that vibration can be really good for blood flow. So if we think about getting and maintaining good erections, sure, help keeping that blood in with an erection band can be very beneficial, but maybe adding some vibration can also not only be beneficial for pleasure, but also just increasing blood flow to the organ of interest. Lastly, I want to talk about some products by a company called FirmTech. Now, full disclosure, I am on the scientific advisory board for this company, so I do know a bit about it, but do want to let you know of that information that I am on the advisory board. This product right here is an erection ring that is made out of a material called elastomer. So a lot of the products out there when it comes to erection rings are made out of silicone, which is a very good material to make these sexual wellness products out of. This material allows for it's a little bit looser. So the nice thing about this product right here is it is quite easy to put on. Sometimes with the, O-ring devices, they can be a little bit challenging to get on depending on how tight it is. This device here, all you do is you drop the testicles in this opening, and then you just hook the device like that. So this part right here would go on the top part of the penis. You have one band that goes around the back of the scrotum, and then you have another band that goes around the base of the penis. This keeps the band in place. And also we have some guys that say they really like some of that testicular engorgement that this ring provides. Now this is adjustable, meaning that if you want to make it a little bit looser around the base of the penis, you can just make it tighter around the scrotum. Or if you want to make it tighter around the base of the penis, you can just easily adjust this band, and then it's going to be tighter around the penis and looser around the scrotum. What I also like about this band is you can wear it for a longer period of time compared to the O-rings where you need to have the erection first before you put the ring on, because if you put the ring on, it won't allow more blood flow in the penis. You're really limited in terms of how long you can wear, a ring like this to really 20 or 30 minutes because you're not getting new blood flow into the penis. So one of the advantages of using a ring like this is that one, you don't have to wait until you get the erection to put the ring on. Sometimes that seems of like literally like a cock block is you're waiting until you have the full erection before you put a ring on, and you're like at that moment, you got to put it on. So I can see how that might mess up the mood a little bit. But for a ring like this, you can actually put it on before you're erect while you're, let's say, watching TV or engaging in foreplay. And it's loose enough that it will still allow blood flow into the penis, but just helps keep the blood in the penis. So you can actually wear this device for up to an hour, and that's shown to be perfectly safe, and we haven't seen any issues with that. So you don't have as much of a time limitation with a device like this compared to a lot of the ones on the market. Then lastly, if you're someone who is interested in data, and I'm all about data because you can't track what you don't measure, we have the Tech Ring by FirmTech. This is very similarly designed to, this is their Max PR version right here. So the design is very similar. You can see though that this part right here is a bit thicker, and there's a reason for that because it has, it's a smart device. It's essentially a wearable device like a Fitbit or an Apple Watch or an Oura Ring. And it has a pressure sensor right here, okay, and a strain gauge. So same way of applying this, you drop the testicles in, okay, and then you just hook that like so. And this right here, right, has a strain gauge. So all this data between the pressure sensor and the strain gauge will get entered into an equation. And what that equation then shows you is a graph. using Bluetooth, the data from this device will sync to your smartphone and graph your erectile fitness in real time. So for men who want to understand what's happening with my erectile function overnight when I'm sleeping, and they would be able to track their erectile fitness related to alcohol, whether they're drinking 2 beers or 3 beers or no beers, whether they're vaping, not vaping, smoking marijuana, getting 8 hours of sleep versus 6 hours of sleep, eating, at 6 p.m. versus 9 p.m. If, for men who want to understand how those practical decisions that we make on a daily basis in real time impact erectile function, which they can, and they do. A doctor like me would never be able to tell a person exactly the impact on their penis. And so I encourage people to be their own experiment because they would be able to track in real time what those different decisions that they're making, how they impact their penis. And it'll literally show a graph of how many erections the person got, how long the erections lasted, and how firm the erections were. And what the application will do is it will average out the last 4 recordings in the last 30 days and give the person an erectile fitness score. Just really good to track, like we would track our step count and our sleep. It's just another trackable item of our health that can help encourage some better decisions. Now, this device, not only can it provide data, but it can also just act as a really good erection ring to help keep blood in the penis. And the person could collect data at nighttime, during the day, during sexual activity, really in any different scenario. Let's recap here. There are a lot of different erection rings on the market. Even ones that I didn't show today, some are made out of metal. I always get a little bit nervous about patients using a metal erection band because if you leave it on for too long or there's significant penile swelling, they can be very challenging to get off and require going to the emergency room in those cases. You also want to make sure in terms of safety of using these devices that you're not using them for too long, especially the ones that are going to be tighter around the penis because they can cut off blood supply to the penis. They can really just put too much pressure on the penis. And if someone, let's say, falls asleep and they wake up the next morning and the ring is still on, it can be very challenging to get off. So make sure you're not using it for longer than you should. By the way, this device right here has shown safety wearing this all night long. So this is really the outlier that you could wear a device like this for many hours and the blood goes in and the blood goes out. And we haven't had issues with patients wearing this for a longer period of time, which is good. But there are a lot of different products on the market. The key point here is at the end of the day, you're looking to wear an erection band, whether you have erectile dysfunction, venous leak, or you simply just want to last longer or experience a new experience. That's reason enough to use an erection ring. You don't have to have a dysfunction to benefit from its use. Then try a lot of different ones out and see what works for you. And you can try it by yourself and when you're with a partner, and you don't have to wear them all the time. You can wear them some of the time. So it really depends on what you're looking for. But yeah, try different ones out. See how tight you want it to be. See if you like an O-ring like this, or if you prefer one where it has a little hook closure there that you could wear it for a longer period of time. Or maybe you want something, that vibrates the penis and the clitoris, or maybe you want something that vibrates the perineum. So really a lot of different options here. And a lot of really great companies that are revolutionizing the sexual wellness space that are creating really high-end products for you to try. Thank you so much for tuning in. For more information on the behind-the-scenes scoop when it comes to sexual wellness, hormone, and genitourinary health, please subscribe to my channel.